Hello everyone, welcome once again to this online session. Now we are going to start revising the chapters that we have learned till last week, right? So I'll be starting with the revision of this chapter number 5, periodic classification of elements. Okay, so let's now begin the session. You all remember what we had learnt in this chapter. We had learnt about the need for classification of elements or how periodic table came into existence, about the older periodic tables like Dauberniers, Newlands, Mendeleev's, and then how we got this modern periodic table. So, you all know atoms are the tiniest particle which cannot be seen with the naked eye, right? So, we also know that matter around us is present in the form of elements, compounds, and mixtures, and the elements are nothing but atoms of only one type. As of now, there are 118 elements. Out of this, only 94 are naturally occurring. So, what is classification? Placing similar groups and species together is known as classification. So, this classification is needed to easily understand the properties of different elements in a periodic table. Elements with similar properties are placed in one group to understand them easily. This we have all done earlier. This is a kind of revision, and in this, I've given few important questions based on every topic. So I'll be discussing the answers also for those given questions. Please watch carefully, and whenever needed, please make a note of all those questions and answers. Okay. First, we'll begin with Dauberniers triads. You all know what is a triad. Triad is a group of three elements. What is Dauberniers law of triads? It states that uh, elements showing similar chemical properties were taken in sets of three in such a way that the atomic mass of the middle element was equivalent to the mean atomic mass of the first and the third element. So, Daubernier triad considered three elements in which atomic mass of the central element, that is a middle element, is the arithmetic mean of the two other elements, that is the first and the third element. I have given one example. Lithium 6.9, sodium atomic mass is 23, potassium atomic mass is 39. So you have to check whether this obeys the law of triad. When you take the mean of the atomic mass of lithium and potassium, you will find that 6.9 plus 39 divided by 2 will give you 22.95, which is approximately equivalent to 23, and that is the atomic mass of sodium, which is the second element. So this set is obeying the law of triad, right? So like this, he had framed very few triads. So from this part of the chapter, that is Daubernier's law of triads, I've given few important questions which I have taken from the previous board exam papers. So what is a triad? You all know it's a set of three elements. What is Daubernier's law of triad? He had taken a set of three elements showing similar chemical properties and had arranged them in the increasing order of atomic masses in such a way that the atomic mass of the middle element was equivalent to the mean atomic mass of the first and the third element. What are the limitations of Daubernier's triads? Limitations means he could arrange only few elements according to his law of triads, and very few elements showing similar chemical properties were available during his time. Rest of the elements did not obey the law of triads, right? Three elements A, B and C with similar properties have atomic masses X, Y and Z. The mass Y is approximately equivalent to the average mass of X and Z. What is such an arrangement of elements called? Give one example of such a set of elements. There are three elements A, B and C. Their properties are similar and they have atomic masses, that is atomic mass of element A is X, of B is Y, and the element C has atomic mass Z. And they have said the mass Y is approximately equal to the average mass X and Z. That means what? The atomic mass of the second element is equivalent to the mean atomic mass of the first and the third element. So what is such an arrangement of elements called Daubernier's triads? Give an example of such a set of element. You can give the example that I had shown earlier. Lithium, sodium and potassium. Okay. Which one among the two sets, sodium, silicon, chlorine or beryllium, magnesium, calcium, can be classified as Daubernier's triad? Atomic mass of beryllium is 9, sodium is 23, magnesium is 24, silicon is 28, chlorine is 35, calcium is 40. Explain by giving reason. So what should you do here? You have to take the two sets first. Like you have to take the first set, sodium, silicon. I'm just solving and showing, but you have to practice. And second set is beryllium, magnesium, calcium, right? And their atomic masses are given. You will write their atomic mass numbers, and then you will find whether the mean atomic mass of the first and the third element is equivalent to the atomic mass of the second element for the two sets. So among the two sets, which one is obeying the law of triad? If it obeys, the atomic mass of the second element will be equivalent to the mean atomic mass of the first and the third element. You have to choose, and accordingly you have to give reason. What reason you will give? They can be classified as Dauberniers triad because they are obeying the law of triads, right? Next, why do lithium, sodium and potassium show resemblance on the basis of Dauberniers law of triads? Because the atomic mass of sodium, that is 23, I showed you this earlier also, is equivalent to the mean atomic mass of lithium and potassium. What is meant by classification of elements? Arranging the elements based on their properties, means elements having similar properties are placed under one group. So classification is arranging the elements based on their properties, or species also, which is done in the case of biology. What is the advantage of Daubernier's classification of elements? See, limitations you all know. Very few elements obeyed the law of triad. Remaining elements he could not arrange according to his law of triad and all. You can write mean. But what is the advantage? You can say he was the one to arrange the elements in the increasing order of their atomic masses, as well as he had grouped the elements so showing similar properties under one category. That classification rule based on their properties, that is the advantage of Daubernier's classification of elements. Okay, these are all few questions which had come in the previous papers. So please practice. Newland's law of octaves, it states that when the elements were arranged in the increasing order of their atomic masses, the property of the first element was similar to the property of the eighth element, or every eighth element has same properties as in the first element. But even this table was not put into practice because of certain limitations. Like he thought there would be only 56 elements in nature, and he did not think about the elements that would be discovered in the future. And then after calcium, the elements did not obey his law of octaves. And then in order to fit in the existing elements into his table, he started arranging the elements in the same place. That means two elements were placed under one box, and those elements did not match with the properties of the elements that were already placed in the table. For example, this cobalt and nickel, two elements were placed together under hydrogen, fluorine, chlorine. This hydrogen, fluorine, chlorine are totally different in their properties when compared to the property of cobalt and nickel. So these were the limitations because of which this table was not brought into practice. Okay. What are the features of Newland's law of octaves? Newland's law of octaves was also based on musical notes. He had arranged all the known elements during his time in the increasing order of their atomic masses, and he found that in his arrangement the property of the first element was similar to the property of the eighth element, or you can say the first and the eighth elements are similar in their chemical and physical properties. So these are the features. See, there are very common questions like what are the limitations of Newland's law of octaves, or state Newland's law of octaves. These questions you can answer on your own, but these type of questions are little, it's very easy for you, but you have to think. So I've given the answers also, please make a note of it. Next, what is the importance of Newland's law of octaves? So importance, it's like other this Daubernier's arrangement. So even this played a major role, in arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic mass, and the elements were arranged based on their physical and chemical properties. Okay, so what is the importance of Newland's law of octaves? Means what? Newland's law of octaves was among the very first attempts to detect a periodic pattern in the properties of elements. Newland's law of octaves was also among the early attempts to classify elements on the basis of their atomic weights. Atomic weights is nothing but your atomic masses. Clear? So importance in the sense what? You have to compare it with the previous periodic table arrangement, like your Daubernier's triads. So what was the advantage there? He was the one to come out with the concept of arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic masses, and he had grouped them according to their properties. So same thing was followed in Newland's periodic table also, but even this played a major role in arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic masses and grouping them based on their properties, right? What was wrong with Newland's law of octaves? It's nothing but the limitation. Depending on the weightage, you can answer, right? So here, I've given the answer like this. Newland's table showed a repeating or periodic pattern of properties, but this pattern eventually broke down. By ordering strictly according to atomic mass, Newland was forced to put some elements into groups which did not match their chemical properties. As a result, this table was not accepted. The question can be like this also. Why was Newland's law of octaves, the periodic table, not accepted? See, we had discussed earlier also that cobalt and nickel were placed under the group of gases like hydrogen, chlorine, fluorine and all. So this was not accepted because he had said earlier itself that he had arranged the elements in the increasing order of their atomic masses, and he had said that the property of the first element was similar to the property of the eighth element. In that case, these two elements were totally showing different properties, this cobalt and nickel, when compared to the other elements under that particular group. Okay, or you can when you talk about any limitations also, you can bring down here. He did not think about the existence of elements that were discovered later. He thought only 56 elements were available. All those things can be said here. So what was wrong? Any of the limitation depending on the weightage. Okay. So next is Mendelev's periodic table. Mendeleev used atomic masses as the basis of this arrangement of elements. So according to this Mendelev's periodic law, it states that the physical and chemical properties are the periodic function of their atomic masses. So I've given the advantages of Mendelev's periodic table. Very few I've given. You can take many more from your textbook also. So the first advantage, he was the first one to leave gaps in this periodic table so that when the elements were discovered in future, they could be given proper position in the table depending on their properties. Okay, then this table had space to accommodate noble gases which were discovered later, and he also corrected the atomic mass of certain elements. Why? He had arranged the elements in the increasing order of their atomic masses, and he had placed the elements showing similar properties under one particular group. So when he was looking out for the similarity in the properties of the elements while putting it under one group, the atomic masses were not in proper order, so that he had to do a deep study of those elements, their nature, and then he had to do some variations, corrections in their atomic masses also. Then limitations of Mendelev's periodic table. The first and the foremost one, when he had arranged the elements in the increasing order of their atomic masses, he should have thought about isotopes, but he did not give explanation for the position of isotopes. And then the position of hydrogen is not fixed. Why did he give the first position to hydrogen? Because it is placed in group 1A, and though its properties were matching with that of halogens, he did not give proper explanation for giving first place for hydrogen in his periodic table. And based on this, there are many questions. I've given very few important questions, like what are the main features of Mendelev's periodic table. See, when they ask about main feature, see, the elements were arranged in the increasing order of their atomic masses, then elements showing similar properties were all placed under one group, right? So here, earlier, those scientists, when they were arranging the elements showing similar properties under one, they did not come out with the concept of these groups and periods. So Mendeleev was the first one to introduce this concept of periods and groups. According to his table had 8 groups, and they had subgroups too. So what are groups? The vertical columns of elements showing similar chemical properties is what is called as groups, and rows. The horizontal rows are known as the periods. So he was the first one to introduce the concept of groups and periods. So the horizontal rows are called as periods, and the vertical columns were called as groups. Okay, so what were the main features of Mendeleev's periodic table? Mendeleev arranged the elements in horizontal rows known as periods in the increasing order of their atomic masses. Each vertical column, called groups, contain elements of similar properties. The main features of Mendeleev's periodic table are groups and subgroups. There are 8 groups. When the question is main feature, so in that case you have to talk about a particular point which was not told by the earlier scientists. So he was the one to introduce the concept of this groups and periods, right? This should not confuse you. The vertical columns are known as groups and the horizontal rows are known as periods. Next question. In Mendeleev's periodic table, gaps were left for the elements to be discovered later. Which of the following elements found a place in the periodic table later? So options are given: germanium, chlorine, oxygen, silicon. Germanium. This germanium was known by the name Eka silicon. Okay, so this germanium found a place in the periodic table later in the place of Eka silicon in the Mendeleev's periodic table. During that time only, even this Eka boron, Eka aluminium, which is now known as gallium. This Eka aluminium is presently known as gallium and Eka boron is known as scandium. Okay. Besides germanium, which other elements have since been discovered that were left by Mendeleev in his periodic table? Any two. So I have given it was known as Eka aluminium and Eka boron. Presently it is known as gallium and scandium. Okay. Next, what physical and chemical properties of elements were used by Mendeleev in creating his periodic table? And list 2 observations which posed a challenge to Mendeleev's periodic law. So what physical and chemical properties of elements were used by Mendeleev in his, while creating his periodic table? Atomic mass was used as a physical property, the nature, formulae, okay, and the formulae of oxide and hydride form, it's a chemical property that was chosen by Mendeleev while framing his periodic table. And then list 2 observations which posed a challenge to Mendeleev's periodic law. I told you just now, he had to make some changes in the atomic mass because the increasing order of atomic masses could not be maintained while matching chemical properties of those elements. Chemical properties do not depend on atomic mass. So this posed a big challenge to him while arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic masses, and when he had placed the elements resembling same properties under one particular group. And these isotopes, they have different atomic mass but same chemical properties. So in that case, these things posed a big challenge to him. So apart from this, there are very common questions like what are the limitations of Mendeleev's periodic table, what are the advantages of Mendeleev's periodic table. These questions were given in your notes that you can learn. So these few questions which are very hard to find are given here as a revision part to you. Please make a note of it. Okay, very soon we'll meet with a revision of this chapter for the remaining topics. Okay, until then, keep revising. Bye. Take good care of yourselves.